there. I am Dr. Sujay, or you can call me Dr. Fabulous, because I'm holding in my hands now my fabulous fifth chapter. It's my turn now. My new book on Judson Press. I want to thank Judson Press. They were the first to give my name the voice. My first name in print with my very first book, Wise Women Bearing Gifts, Joys and Struggles of the Faith. And thank you for book number 18. But I want to thank all of you for joining us. And whether you're on any platform, if you're on YouTube, just subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let people know we're on. But more than that, I am so excited because I've got 6 of my BFFs in the same room. Many of them are just meeting each other for the first time, but they've been in my life for most of my life. And so I am so excited to have with us Carmen Green Malik, who is my dorm mate, my sweet mate at Fisk University and HBCU in Nashville, Tennessee. And we were on the swing wing, and we have been swinging together for 5 chapters. And then we have Nina Dawson. Nina and I met in 7th grade, and we went through junior high, high school, college, and graduate school together. She was the dancer. I was the producer director. Our parents loved each other. We lived 11 blocks from each other in the Northeast Bronx. And so we have just become family. Her mother was Aunt Marlene, and my mother was Aunt Dot. And so that's my cousin Nina. And then in Sag Harbor, we've been together summers, winter, springs, and fall. Then we have Mercedes Nesfield. Mercedes, many of you know, she's the village mother of Harlem. She is now 88 years strong and young, gave an endorsement for this book, and she is my travel companion. We have gone over the Swiss Alps together. We have gone through turbulent weather together, and she's also been my Bahama Mama companion. And then there's Alexis Revis Yeoman. Alexis and I met when I finished college, and I went to WJLA TV in Washington, D.C. They hired me over the telephone. It was called the COP program, Career Opportunity Program. And Alexis was a producer right in college. And every time she moved to her next position, she gave me opportunity to fill her position. And that's what I call helping a sister out, looking out for a sister. And then there's Jennifer Vermont Davis. Jennifer, with Nina and I, were at Emerson College together. But she and I partied together. She and I have been friends, and we have raised our children through Jack and Jill. We've been in the book club together. We've been on the Sag Harbor beaches together. And when I need a place to stay, if it's not at Nina's, I'm at Jennifer and Steven. So thank you for hospitality. And then finally, last but not least, is Joy Duckett Kane. Now, Joy probably is the longest friend in this room. We were 7 years old at Eastchester Presbyterian Church on Fish Avenue and Gun Hill Road in the Bronx, New York. And we were in Sunday school and would walk home together every Sunday. And so I just thank you all for joining me. All my BFFs in one room. Thank you.
Thank
you are all fabulous.
You.
So I'm going to just start out. My book starts out thanking my mother and my aunt. Many of you knew them. Mama, my grandmother, my Aunt Martha, my Aunt Catherine. Some of you have been at each other's homes. But I thank them for being women who were fabulous in every chapter of their lives. You remember my mother would party to age 84. I'd come in the house and say, how you doing? She said, lock the door, honey. I'm going to Atlantic City with my friends. I'm like, hey, I'm your daughter here. So tell me, who is a woman in your life, present or not with us any longer, who you know lived a fabulous second half of their lives? I'm going to start with Nina.
Wow. So as you know, it's my mom. It's my mom, Dr. Marlene Clivert, Nana K, Mima, Aunt Marlene, Dr. K, Dr. Clivert, Lawson. She was the one. But I think on that side of the family, on my mother's side of the family, there were just women who were shakers and makers. You know, I remember my grandmother was a business manager for a pastry shop in Harlem, and she went to work until she was in her 80s. Then the same thing. She went to school, became a school psychologist and a psychiatrist, and she had many lives. She was a model, she was a singer, but once again, and then when I look at my mom, My mom, at I think probably mid 30s, decided that her associate degree was not enough. So she went
Mm,
on to her bachelor's, two masters, a PhD, and became the dean of Columbia University's dental school before she.
wow.
And so she was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was definitely the one.
Marlene was something, and it gave my son and so many children after him opportunities who were interested in medicine or dentistry, gave them opportunities to come and live in the dorms like the medics at the Columbia. So I remember her. And we gave her mother an award the year before she passed. It was called the
That's right.
Unsung Heroes Award. The entire room stood when Aunt Marlene stood up because it was that kind of impact and influence she had had on the lives of everyone in that room. And it was over 100 people, but they stood to honor her. So we celebrate her. Carmen, who was a woman in your life, past or present, that you know their 50s were nifty and their 60s were nifty and they enjoyed their second half of life?
Can you hear? I'm not sure if my
Yeah,
mic is. Can you hear
we
me?
can hear you. We can hear
Oh,
you.
okay.
Yep.
I guess I would have to say my mother because my mother was, she was a woman that never went to college, but she made sure all of her children got the best education that they could get. She pushed us to be the best, and she was always there pushing, motivating us no matter what. And she just had a heart of gold, and she took in everybody, all the children around. If they didn't have, books or clothing, she's out buying, and we're like, well, what about us? She's like, oh, you got everything. She was always looking out for the other person and taught us to give because it'll come back to you. And she
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
always giving, but she was one to pick up and go, like, okay, I'm not sitting around. She'd go, she'd do her thing, but she was always there for her family, took care of her family, looked out for everybody in the neighborhood. Everybody knew my mom and knew that they could come and get anything from her. And even always remember that the doctors, when she was sick and in the hospital, the doctors told us she is not going to live through the day. And the priest came, gave her last rites and everything. And when we went to pray together, my mother lifted up her hands to pray with us. And then before the priest left, she said to him, "Do you need any money?" And she was just that type of person. And she lived probably another month or two. When she lifted up her hands to pray, we all looked at each other and said, she's not going anywhere today. And she didn't. So she was just that type of person. Her faith was strong, and she made it instilled in us. So, and her love for traveling and everything has passed on to me. And her antics, she was always had something crazy to say about everybody, but loved everybody. So
Wow.
that was the
That's awesome.
person that always inspired me.
So Carmen and Mercedes, some of our sorors are sending some love our way. Thank you, sorors, for being with us tonight. Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. I want to ask Joy. Now you still have your mother with you, and what a blessing! You have both of your parents alive. What made your mother's second half of life so exciting? I've seen her at parties. She's up there. What do you think is the key to her niftiness in her 50ness?
Yes, that's a great question, Susan. My mother is 96 years old now, so
Bless
she's not quite as nimble as she used to be back in the day. But yeah, a couple of years ago, she was still trying to cut a rug a little bit. I can remember when I was, I guess, a teenager. Back then, they had those little exercise things that you'd put on your door and you'd pull it and your legs would go. My mother was always trying to stay fit. She was always mentally on point. Um, she believed in God. She went to church regularly. She liked to laugh. My mother is a big, even now at 96, her laugh will get you laughing because she's just one of those people, has one of those big, big, big laughs that you just kind of want to join in on. And I think that just as the other ladies were
I love.
saying, it's a family kind of thing. I can think of one of her sisters, my Aunt Bonnie, who was also, she passed probably when she was in her 70s, but that lady, she owned a nut and candy store in Harlem, like back in the 60s, and she was a
Wow.
seamstress. There's just this whole entrepreneurial spirit that some people have. She had. She was somebody I admired greatly as well.
I love it. Now, Alexis, I got to see all of your um Alexis, your times and your both of your parents, but we are becoming our mothers. Every time we see each other, we like your mother, and you're like you're Dorothy. What is the trait from her second half of life honor the most that you're so glad that you're like your mother because of what? Alexis.
I guess it. I guess it. I guess it would be almost the title of your book. It's my turn now because I have a physically challenged sister who is still physically challenged, and she spent all of my sister's, lifetime. She got hit by a car when she was 9. She just turned
Mhm.
59, October 8th, and so
Bless her.
she wasn't given a chance to live, and she had a very very long recovery. And my mother did everything for her and to get her on her feet and get her back. And so when she got her on her feet and she was on her path, then I started having children. So then she started babysitting the kids for me until they got into grade school. But then after that, the second half of her life, she started a modeling career at age 60. She
Mm.
traveled and she just enjoyed. It's my turn now. That's really what her last years of her life ended. And so now my children are on their path. We are empty nesters, my husband and I couldn't be happier.
No, that's right.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, Jennifer, I've stayed at your home. I've
Yes.
stayed in your children's beds. Thank them for me often and great meals. What is nifty about your 50 plus? What's niftiness? What is when it's
Oh,
mother?
Suji, you're breaking up and I can't hear you. You're breaking up and I can't hear that last part.
Can you up? So can
I
you hear me now?
No.
Ooh.
Try it again.
All right. So I was just asking, what makes your
I can hear you
50?
now. I can hear you now.
What makes your 50s so nifty? Okay. What makes your 50s so nifty?
Well, oh, what makes my 50 so nifty? You know, I must say one thing because everyone is talking about their moms, and I have to give some kind of props to my mom. And I think because of
Mm-hmm.
her, I am nifty. And so I think my mom, I think I remember telling you this story that my dad died when I was 7 years old, and my mom put all of four of her kids, three of us in boarding school, and one stayed with my grandmother in Jamaica. And my dad told her, "You need more than a high school education if you're going to be the head of the household." And so she went to Canada to further her education. And I remember when she was done in 4 years, she came down to Jamaica. She bought a house in Connecticut unseen. She just looked in the paper and found a house and brought us all up from Jamaica to Connecticut. And so I just remember her being a nifty person. She was always having fun. Every Sunday, she cooked these big meals. And we used to ask her, "Why are you cooking so much?" And so she said, "You just don't know who's drop in." So every Sunday in our
Mm.
house, we had at least 15, 20 people coming over, and it was food for everyone. So, and I always thought of her having so much energy, so nifty in her older age. And I've always said I wanted to be like that person when I grow up because I saw just her generosity with everyone. She was very empathetic to everyone, so incredibly kind, always having a kind words, and just a very hard worker because she was the head of the house at that
Mm.
point. And so even my
Yes.
brothers and my
Yes.
sister and I would say, "Oh my gosh, we can't believe this is her mother because in Jamaica, dad did everything, right? She made no decisions, but she went to school, bought a house in Connecticut, on sight unseen, brought us up from Jamaica, and when I was looking at colleges, I remember looking at the prices because then you didn't go visit colleges, right? You just kind of looked in the
Mhm.
magazine to see which one. I said, "Oh my God, there's no way I can afford this college." And I just remember her saying, "Choose a school that you want to go to. We'll make it happen." And so I
Wow.
chose Emerson, and she made it happen, right? So I think of all those good things from this woman, and hopefully I'm living my life the way
Mhm.
she lived hers. So yes.
Well, the hospitality and generosity are still there, and I thank you for it personally. So, Mercedes Nesfield just had a birthday October 18th. I don't think there's anything that stops you. What's your motto to making sure that your life is one that you want to have fun and it's the best and the most blessed of your life? What's your motto that you live by?
Well, I'm glad you introduced me in that way because I I want to share something that I don't think I ever shared with you, Sujay, regarding uh, my my life and my reasons for being who I am, uh, emotionally, mentally, and perhaps spiritually. It was not my mother. My mother was a wonderful woman. My mother was diligent to the task, well organized, neat, clean. She gave me those values. I still have to keep a neat, clean house because my mother insisted that I did chores around the house. And my mother was always reminding me of the good things that I must do. But the person that influenced me the most, I believe, was my Aunt Essie. Aunt Essie
Mm,
was what would have been called a street woman. Aunt
mm,
Essie lived in 133rd Street between Lenox and 7th Avenue on the top floor of this brownstone that was owned by a church that was at the lower level. And the minister of the church said, Miss Brown, I want you to take care of this building, this house. You collect the rent. So she collected the rents from everybody. But my Aunt Essie was really the mayor of 133rd Street. She was the first uh, uh, welfare department, if you will. Everybody knew Miss Brown would lend you whatever you needed. When I came into the block to visit her, it's like the drums, the tom toms would send the signal. Miss Brown's niece is in the block because everyone revered Miss Brown because Miss Brown, as someone just said, I think it was you, Jennifer, uh, she had empathy for people and she
mm.
loved and respected. I can't even say loved, she respected everyone and anything that you needed, she would give. And she said to me, remember, a closed hand never receives anything. And she was giving and loving.
Wow.
But if you said you were going to pay her back, if you said that you were going to do whatever
There's a
you
plan.
said you were going to do and you didn't do it,
You better do it.
you're going to have to deal with Miss Brown because as nice as she was honest and wanted to keep you honest. And she was the
I
kind of
love it.
person who just said, look, you got to help people. You help everyone. And I must let you know that my Aunt Essie, Miss Brown, was not welcome in my house, in where I lived with my mother, my father, and my grandmother, her mother, because Miss Brown had been to jail. Miss Brown was caught uh, in, I think, a den of ill repute. She was a card player. She played the numbers, and she was good with the numbers, and the money that she made with the numbers, she would share. That's why everybody could come to Miss Brown. My
I love
grand
it. So
my
yeah,
grandmother
I
did
think
not.
everybody's
I'm going to
yeah.
end
She
in a
didn't.
minute. My
Mhm.
grandmother refused to have her come to our home. However, Miss Brown took care of the family and everyone who knew her. She instilled in me to give and to like everyone and be kind to everyone, but also don't let people take advantage of you. She had both sides of that. And I think,
Yeah, and I think we grew up with all these personalities. Many of us grew up with all kind of people in our village. And one of the chapters talks about a village of sisters, which is who you are to me individually and collectively. But who in this stage of life, what are the different groupings of women who are alive now that make your villages that you want to spend time with and enjoyable time with? Let's do this like popcorn. Just we'll start with Nina, so that everybody will get a chance to speak. Nina, who are the people who comprise your villages? Is it family? Is there a dance company? Kind of tell us who they are at this stage of your life. You're muted. I think you're muted. Unmute your mic.
Oh, I'm unmuted now. I'm okay. It's
Yeah, you're good.
basically, I'm good now. Okay. It's
Yeah.
basically many of the women in the various communities that I belong to. And so it's my church family, liturgical dancers. It is some of the women that I work with in my school. It is family and friends from previous work associations. It's you. It's my sister Pat in Kansas City. It's my daughter Bailey. Um,
Mm,
so it's Jennifer. It's people that I went to school with. It's just is comprised of people that I've spent time with and love being in their presence and have
mm,
had life experiences with. Those are the women who surround me, and that's my tribe. And I tell all young women, you got to have a tribe. It can be
mm.
two, it can be 10, it can be whatever, but you got to have a tribe because when things are good, you want to be able to celebrate with those people. When things are not so good, you want to be able to be with those people so that they can hear you speak
And
your soul,
comfort you.
comfort you,
Hmm.
let you cry and pat you on your back and say, you got this, because we're here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
that's it.
love it. Jennifer, who are your villagers, your tribes?
My tribe. Oh my gosh, they overlap, right? So I'm going to start out with my sister. I have a great family. So my sister, my nieces, my nephews, and my daughter, that's my real tribe, and my brothers, because we're extremely close, all of us. And then outside of that, then I would say, Suji, I know I can call you for whatever I need or have a question or just want to talk. So you're part of that close knit tribe. And I have a great sisterhood of Jack and Jill friends that we continue to be very good friends, sister friends in our book club. And the fact that when we can, you and I and Nina can get together, and we had our yearly dinners from during on Christmas time where we used to get together. That's another tribe that I have, the three of us. Because again, I know I can call either of you, say, I need you to come right now, and I know you'll be there. Um, and I have a tribe at work as well. But I'm very blessed and I'm very lucky to have a tribe made up of different folks that I know I can call on. So yeah.
Wow, thanks. And those of you watching and who are putting comments in the chat, we thank you. Some of you are sorority sisters. Some of you are just friends through the years and through the ages from church. And you're part of our sister village tribe too. So we thank you for sharing. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and comment and like, and please share and let people know that we're live today. And we're going to be having 6 weeks of what we call Fabulous Fridays on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Ambassador Sujay. And at 3 p.m. every Friday, all the way past Thanksgiving, you'll be able to hear conversations with women who are part of my tribes and my villages. So we thank today you're here with some of my lifelong childhood, college buddies, through the ages. We have been so close. So I'm going to switch some of the questions up. Some of you are going to get different questions. So part of my chapter is being fine, fit, and fabulous. And so I'm going to ask Mercedes, what do you do to stay fine and fit? And do you declare yourself fabulous?
Yes, I declare myself fabulous. Why not? What I do, basically, I try to keep anxiety and stress out of my life. I exercise, I walk. I had a trainer for several years. Unfortunately, he's no longer in New York, but I've joined an exercise class. But it's about just being emotionally happy. And I think that affects the way you look and your behavior. That's
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Joy Duckett Kane, what do you do to stay fine, fit, and are you fabulous?
Girl, I'm trying to be fabulous. You know, sometimes I'm more fabulous. Some days I'm more fabulous than other days. But what I try to do is I also try to meditate a little. Keeping stress away is key. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely listen to my music. I play tennis. I play tennis. That keeps me fit. I eat a little
Mm-hmm.
bit too much chocolate cake, which kind of throws it off balance a little. But play tennis.
But then you burn it up.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know, at a certain age, you get to eat the cake, I think. But I also swim and yeah, just try to live a stress-free life, you know, try to enjoy
That's great.
what I can while I can. Yeah.
I've rediscovered swimming. So I swim at least 3 mornings a week. And that, for me, it's spiritual as well as exercise because when I'm in water, my cares are gone. And so I find I have to do that. Alexis, what do you do to be fine and fit? And do you declare that you are fabulous?
But first, yes, I do declare I'm fabulous.
That's it. It's a David encouraged himself in the Lord. Yes.
That's right, man. So it's a steady grind, trying to watch what you eat, work out. I do walk almost every day. I'm up to 3 miles. I'm trying to get to 5. The only problem is I don't have that much time. So that means I have to walk faster to get 5 miles in. But I'm losing weight, and that's what I needed to do. So just same as others have commented, try so hard to keep the stress level down. And looking
Yeah.
forward to retiring from my job in the next 3 or 4 years so that I can really just live the second half of my life.
I love it. I love it. Regina Wiley from the Bahamas says she loves the water. She said, Lord, I live in the water. I understand
Mm-hmm.
that. And Monique
Mm-hmm.
Fortuné, and we have you here. Deanna Bass Williams, thank you for joining. And JZMTY, happy to have you with us too. So, Carmen, fam, you talk about how wonderful your mother was, but I also watch you with 2 adult daughters, and your house is also a house we like to congregate when we come to Nashville. How do you have fun, Carmen Green Malik? Because you've continued to have that through every chapter of your life. How do you have fun, and what brings you the most joy?
Spending time with family and friends, old friends, new friends, meeting new friends, and traveling. If I can be at the beach, I'm happy. Anytime I can put my feet in the sand and just relax And I like to hang out with the family and spend as much time with my grown daughters now that don't have much time for me, but being able to just spend that time with family and friends and hanging out. And we try to have college roommates. You're one of them, that we try to get together at least once a year and just get together and stress-free somewhere where we all meet up and just have a great weekend. And that, it revives you. Just, it sets your spirits up to know that you can get away with friends that you might not have seen in years or 6 months or, 10 days, but to be able to spend time together and to spend time with family. Family is the most important thing, of spending time with making time in a stress-free environment, where you can just spend time together and just talk and have fun. So we've tried to start that, and then we've tried starting just getting together with my immediate family and to spend time at Christmas. Instead of going out shopping and doing all this, let's just go somewhere and spend time together where it's just us and we can, celebrate the season and what the season's about and being together. So family and friends is what's important to me. And so whenever I can get together with my family or my friends, that's the most important part to me.
And I know you've been trying to come out to Sag Harbor, so I'm going to give you an invitation.
I've been trying to get there, and I'm going to get there.
I know. You're going to get there next year. It's going to be definitely there. So, one of the things that unites us is so good. This is a book about women over 50, but it's also about how important not only it is to have fun and be fine and fit and fabulous, but also the faith factor. And all of us are united because we believe in faith. So I'm going to ask you, in terms of what's a faith, either a scripture or a figure in faith, biblical history, who motivates you? What keeps you going? When you have those moments where you might be slipping and you might not be feeling fine at this moment, what is it in your faith walk that keeps you going strong? So I'm going to just go around again real quick like popcorn. I'm going to start with Nina.
The 23rd Psalm. The 23rd Psalm. I was introduced to the 23rd Psalm when I was probably in elementary school by my grandmother. And she said, whenever you need a rock, whenever you feel like you're drifting, she said, you say this. And I remember her writing it out for me on a piece of paper and in one of my missals, my Catholic missals. And it's the 23rd Psalm. It really is. And recently I was introduced to Brian Courtney. I think it's Brian Courtney. And he says, just say yes. Like once you say yes. And I realized once you say yes, things just are much better. Because you're not fighting against yourself. You're not fighting against God. You just say yes to him, and the world seems a lot kinder, a lot easier to move through. The anxiety level is gone because you know that anything that's going to happen is in his hand, and it's already been predetermined and designed for you. So just say yes. Just say yes.
I love it. One of my friends, some of you have met her, the late Dr. Katie Cannon. She's kind of the author of what they call womanist theology. When I was going through my hearings, my Synod confirmation hearings, she said, when the yeses line up, that means God says it's time for it to happen. And so it's the saying of the yes and also going through life knowing when the yeses line up. And if you're getting all these no's, then it might not be the time or the right time for you. Doesn't mean that it's not the right job or good job, but it may not be the right time for you or the right position for you. So the yeses, I love that. Yes. Jennifer, your faith is important. You're a Sunday school teacher. Nina does liturgical dance for her church as well as participate in many areas. But your faith is strong as well. What keeps you going? Is there a scripture? Is there a word of faith that you have that's important? And when you finish speaking, if you could just mute your mics, it would help us. Thank you.
So I just unmuted. So you know, I do teach Sunday school. I go to church on Sundays, and I used to be a Roman Catholic. I'm now a Unitarian, and I do all from a place of gratitude. But I just remember growing up in a Catholic church. We also went to a Catholic boarding school, so I went to mass every single morning, and also on Sundays. And there's something called Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and the hour of our death, amen. But I know, even though I'm no longer a practicing Catholic, because I'm a Unitarian Universalist, those lines for me, I find that I say those lines when I first get up in the mornings. It's part of the rosary, right? And I say those lines before I close my eyes to go to sleep at night. And it's also thanking God to continue to bless us, to continue to give us all the wonderful blessings that sometimes I take for granted. So that's my go-to, and I don't say it just repeat it. I say it because it means something to me, and it grounds me into who I am and what I should look forward to. And when I teach my Sunday school, I always say, think of gratitude. Think of gratitude and think about who you want to thank.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to go to my Catholic sister since Catholicism was raised up. Alexis, been Catholic all your life. Met your husband in first grade in a Catholic school.
Yeah.
Talk to us. What grounds you in terms of your faith? Like, is there a saying, or is it just faith itself? Talk to us about faith.
So this is the one I like the most. I know Nina said that Psalm 23. So you'll have to help me with quoting which verse of the scripture, but I know you know what it is. And it's just really short because it helps me when I get frustrated and flustered. Be still and know that I am God. I know you know that.
That's the
And
song.
so
It's Psalms 46:10b.
that's the one.
It's a part of my faith. Psalm
See?
46, verse 10. The B part, the second part.
Second one. Thank you, Mercedes. I appreciate that because I couldn't get that to come to my head, but I will never forget those words. Yes. So I had a friend of mine
I love
it. Sent me a Christmas card one year with that was on the front of the card. So I took the card and it's right now it's taped to my kitchen wall, and I see it every day because I'm in the kitchen every day.
I love it.
You use that before you walk out the door. And I'm a Baptist now. I'm not a Catholic anymore. Hold on, I switched like Jennifer. I'm not Catholic anymore after 50 years, 60 years, but I'm Baptist now. Wow. We joined the Baptist church not too long ago. Yes, we came on over. So, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
All right. I love it. Now, Carmen, you're married, and all the 5 of you are married and have long marriages, and God bless you. You're married, but you're Catholic and you're married to a Muslim. Is your faith still intact? Are you still strong, and how much does it matter to you?
My faith is still just as strong as it was before I got married, even stronger. And the fact that we're both of different religions hasn't affected anything in our lives. We've raised our children to decide what they want to be. They were raised Catholic, but they were always told they could be whatever they wanted to be. We exposed them to both religions, and we've respected each other's religion, and it just comes down to respect. And what you believe is one thing, but we both have to understand that we have to respect each other's religion. And we've always done that even before we got married. It was important for us to talk about how we were going to raise children and what we were going to do. And it worked. And my husband was I mean, most people didn't even know he was Muslim because he was so much involved in the children's lives in Catholic school that they thought he was, Catholic also, but he wasn't. But his faith was strong, but his fatherhood to his daughters and being involved with them in their lives is what was everything for us. So just
That's
the
beautiful.
fact
Is there a
that
particular
respect.
scripture? Is there a particular scripture that you hold on to?
Not just a particular one. I wanted to ditto on the fact of everything that my Catholic sister said. I'm still Catholic, but sometimes I think I'm Catholic and Baptist, so I say I'm Catho-Baptist or whatever, because I enjoy going to the Baptist church at times and hearing the word. And when I hear the word from Sujay, it means a lot, but I stay strong in my faith. But there's not just one particular verse that I would say that really sticks out to me. But
you know what was hard?
what Alexis said is one of them that is always strong with me. Well, I didn't hear what you said.
I went back for the 40th reunion. I went back for the 40th reunion to Fisk I would have graduated in 77. And so they had me as the preacher for the morning for the baccalaureate. And I was sitting there and all my friends like Carmen in the front row who we hung out with, I was like, oh my gosh, you have to just kind of cut it out because we had so many wonderful, fun memories. But it was an honor actually to be invited back to preach to you. So Joy Duckett Kane, my dad was Baptist, my mother was Presbyterian, so I went to Presbyterian Sunday School at Eastchester, got on the bus, went to Harlem, met my mother at the Presbyterian church. Her church was over, and we walked up to Union Baptist Church in Harlem. So I've had church in my blood. What is the faith piece that sustains you through all seasons?
What's interesting, Sujay, is that even though we met back in Sunday school, you always had a more focused, attention to the faith. Not deeper, but more focused. You were into it a lot earlier and a lot stronger than I was. But what so I can't quote scripture the way you can, but there's something in Philippians that I love. And it's the one that says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything with prayer and well, that
Thanksgiving.
One. Thank you. Yeah. That one, I used to write that one down and carry it with me. That was the one.
I love it. But you were always focused as well. And we had to learn all of those hymns at Eastchester, which I love because I know all the hymns of the church. But I will tell you this, when Bible trivia comes up on Jeopardy and they have the category of Bible, my kids are there and they're like, you didn't know one of those answers. I'm like, look, hey, look, I know that Jesus was born Mary of the Virgin Mary. That's all you got to know. So it's interesting. So Mercedes, we can't leave without, we have a few more minutes, but we can't leave without asking you. You're my prayer partner, been president of Canaan Baptist Church of Christ in Harlem twice, but you are Miss Canaan, you are Miss Harlem, and about your faith sustains you through every season.
Well, my faith was given to me by my mother and father. My mother was Baptist, my father was Methodist. So every Sunday I went to the Baptist church in the morning with my mom, and in the afternoon I went to Bethel AME Church to a service or something. And so consequently I learned every hymn in the hymn book. Learned that the Baptist hymns and the Methodist hymns are the same, except that the Baptists sing it with a beat. And so I know I know all of the hymns, but the scripture that sustains me daily is Proverbs 5:3. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all ways, and He will direct your path. And so when I speak to people, I always end whatever I'm saying with two words: trust God. Just trust God. And then Psalm 46:10 is like the coda: be still and know that I am God. That's
I
it.
love it.
That's it for me.
Alexis raised
Yes.
her hand.
Yes.
Alexis has this saying, that's Jesus right there. When we're at her house and we see something that we know that God is, she said, that's Jesus right there. And I said, yes, it is. We have a short video and we're going to come back and take our last question. I want you to think about your favorite highlight when we were together. Anything that we did that was dumb, fun, your favorite highlight when we were together. You're going to each have 30 seconds when we come back. Saeed has a video that we want to show. And thank you guys for staying with us. We'll be about 5 more minutes. We are so excited about having you. Hey, I'm Dr. Sujay, and yes, Judson Press has done it again. We got another bestseller for you, My Fabulous Fifth Chapter. It's My Turn Now. A new book available on Judson.press or on Amazon.press. Oh, it's fabulous for the woman who's over 50. I know you call me Dr. Sujay, but call me Dr. Fabulous. And we're going to be having Fabulous Fridays. Want you to tune in, youtube.com/Ambassador Sujay. Be with us. Be there or be square, but be fabulous. Woo! Sign that girl up. Sign her up. So I want you to get that book. It's judsonpress.com or amazon.com. I got kind of excited because this new book is out, but it's the holiday time. You have relatives, you have friends. We want you to get it. Our book club, I want to have some of you on for these conversations on Friday as well, but get it, and we hope that you will enjoy it and be blessed by it. So finally, we're going to ask, what was your favorite highlight? We've been together, some of us, 5 decades, 6 decades, 4 decades. What was your very favorite highlight or remembrance of when we were together? Nina, I'm going to start with you. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay. You know that there's some decade that we had, but it was Emerson. It was Emerson, all Emerson, because we were out of control. We thought we could do everything, and it was perfect. It was perfect. So I would go. I
love it. And I remember sitting on the wall. We had 50 cents between us, and this little truck would sell cookies, and we would both get a quarter and break the cookies in half, so each one of us would have one from that truck on the wall. Jennifer, your favorite highlight of us together?
Okay. So I was going to say Emerson and rehearsing, doing shows. But since Nina did that, I'll do something else. So I don't know if Sujay remembers this at all, but it was after graduation. And I wanted to hang out with Sujay because I liked her brother, Ron. So I remember Sujay, Ron, and Ron took us to some party. It was a club. And so I'm not sure if Sujay remembers this, but we were dancing on the floor, really getting down. And Sujay said, I'm thinking of going into the ministry. And I was like, oh, stop it, girl. You are not doing any such thing. Because she's dancing, right? And I just thought, and then she did. But that was besides Emerson and having so much fun there. I thought you just blew me away when you're dancing and having fun. And then all of a sudden, I'm going into the ministry. And Ron and I just thought, oh, sure you are. So that was one of my favorites.
Yes. I love it. Our faith cannot be separated from the party floor. Joy, what's your favorite highlight?
Okay, so even though you grew up in the neighborhood, when you moved down to the Grand Concourse, I'll never forget this. You lived in, I believe, Joe Namath's building.
Executive Towers, yeah.
Executive Towers. I was so impressed to go down there and see you down there. But what was even more impressive to me was this album that you had. It was a brand new album. Do you remember what it was, Sujay? Because I can never forget it. You don't remember?
Michael Jackson. Was it
Yeah, it was
Michael
the Jackson
Jackson?
Five's. It was the Jackson Five's first
That-
album. Yeah, Diana Ross introduces, and we were
Wow.
listening to it in your bedroom, and it was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, that's a childhood memory, but that's one of my favorites.
I love it. So I moved to the Grand Car because my dad had a heart attack when we were 13. So we had to move where there weren't steps any longer. But there was one doorman, Carlos, who was there for 4 chapters of my life. When we moved in, I was 13. Then when we had curfew, Nina and I had curfew, all the kids would come to my house and I would say, Carlos, buzz them and tell them I was here. Just tell them I'm here on time. And he would cover for me. Then I got married. Carlos was in the lobby. Then when my water broke and I was going to have the baby, he says, is it time, Miss J? So he saw me from 13 all the way up to almost 40. It was such a wonderful experience to have that as part of my village. So thank you for coming over to Executive Towers. Carmen, your favorite highlight? And I'm going to end with Mercedes, of course. And Alexis, Carmen, what's your favorite highlight?
It's my favorite highlight is just from our freshman year at Fisk University that brought us together. And I can't tell you the things that all of the things that we did at Fisk that year that she was there, but she made it the most memorable year of my Fisk life. And just hanging out on that wing, we were so close we were all so close that we were like sisters from the very beginning and have never moved away from that. But we knew that she was going to be some type of actress from the very beginning. She always had us laughing up all night. Every night we'd hang out people couldn't understand why our wing was so close. We wouldn't go to dinner or anything until everybody was together. And then we'd hang out all night and the parties. And she earned the name The Bump because she danced all the time. And that was when the bump was out, and everybody always wanted to bump with Sue. So it was always bump with Sue. And so we didn't miss a party. We didn't miss any, but the antics that she had kept us laughing and in stitches. And when she left us, we were sad, but we knew that we thought she'd be on TV or whatever, but she's on the stage that she belongs on. But she kept us in stitches the whole time. And some of the things that we just had and did at Fisk that just kept us
all right,
going.
We're out of time. We're just about out of time. Alexis, what's your favorite highlight? Yeah, we bumped a lot. Alexis, what's your favorite highlight?
My favorite highlight is when Sujay took a producer job in Miami. And she said, oh, I want you to come down here and live down here with us, and we can hang out together. And we were so young. We were in our 20s. So I flew down and we hung out for a minute, and then we hopped a plane to the Bahamas. You couldn't tell me anything. Wow, I thought I was living the high life, and we were sitting on the beach. And she would be cracking jokes, and she's like, look at 2 o'clock, that one's for you. It'd be the ugliest guy on the beach, right? And she just made jokes all day. But the only thing that she was focused on, she was in divinity school at the time. She was studying in all that hot sun, because we were out there all day. In between all the jokes, she was studying and getting ready for her theological degree, which I was very proud of and admired a lot, because you can have a lot of fun, but she also focused on what was important to her in her career. So we had a ball those 4 or 5 days we were over there, though.
I love it. And Mom Mercedes, village mother, highlight. We had so many times together, but what's one that stands out for you as we prepare to close the show?
The one that stands out for me was when you and I were the most fabulous Black women walking down the street in Kosovo, and the Albanian men would smile at us, and the women frowned at us, and we met some NATO military who were in the street, they were glad to see us and to meet you as an ambassador, because you were there to give a speech and participate in the conference. And everyone knew you, and everyone knew that I was your assistant, and I got things done for you. And I will never forget how fabulous we were as two Black women.
I love it. And so this book is dedicated to the fabulous women over 50 who are ready to live this next stage of life to the fullest, willing to go the extra mile with style, committed to being as free as you want to be without guilt and apology, eager for relief and release, on board to make the rest of your life the most blessed of your life, and ready to decree and declare it's my time and it's my turn now. Fabulous fifth chapter. You are fabulous. I want to thank Judson Press. I want to thank Saeed, Erica, and Linda, and all the team who made it possible, the editorial team, the publishing team, and certainly tonight, the IT team. You'll be able to see these on Fabulous Fridays, 3 p.m., youtube.com/Ambassador Sujay. But I want you to remember you are fabulous. Don't let nobody tell you you're not. Thank you, my BFFs from all over, for being with me tonight. It's been my pleasure. I'm Dr. Sujay. No, I'm not. I'm Dr. Fabulous, saying good night. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you.